Tomazzi Entertainment.
What Up News?
Good afternoon, and now we're dealing with Philly Blunts and D-Laps and Doc. We're talking about computer things. And I think what they're really counting on is all the converts that came from the Xbox 360 camp that Microsoft honestly really disappointed them and made them feel betrayed. And they went over to the PS4 camp when the PS4 was released. But that E3 showing where they didn't really talk about games very much. They more were trying to be the multimedia machine
Yeah,
that
all
does
around.
your whole house.
That's what I kind of
And the
prefer.
Xbox fans, a lot of them though, used to bash the PS3 users about that, saying, we have a games console. You have this all-in-one media device. Like, I paid for a games console that plays games. You could come to the next generation. Microsoft, it seemed like they had flipped their stance, and now all of a sudden they weren't about the games. So that made a whole bunch of people just like, you know what, fuck it, hear that shit. I'm buying a PS4 just out of spite, basically, right? And Microsoft changed their ways, and they were, they saw the pre-orders dropping. Saw the money going into Sony's pocket like crazy, and they changed most of the anti-gamer stuff that was in there and started focusing a lot more on the games. But there were still a lot of things, and that's of course leading to your whole PS4 Xbox disparity, right?
Yeah, well, they basically are creating new consoles. That's what I'm hearing. I tried to look up what you told me of the Xbox. I see Phil Spencer said that, but he didn't say he has a console on the works.
No.
He just says that's what he would like to do is make
Right.
it so you can change the parts out in the Xbox One, which is a terrible fucking idea. And I hear that the PS4 though has a new version coming out that's going to be 4K. Great for them, I guess. Well,
In my opinion, I don't know. I've heard about the more recent rumors about that, but if you actually think back to the beginning of last year, I think it was in February, a Netflix representative came out and said that they were, when Netflix was doing 4K, and people were wondering whether or not the next gen consoles would be able to support the 4K streaming,
which
right?
they don't, yeah.
And they don't. And so Netflix said that there was another version of the consoles in the works that was going to support 4K. A lot of people mistook that, thinking that that meant that there was going to be 4K gaming, these super powerful consoles are coming out, a new generation, all this stuff. It was never even really confirmed to be true. Now, of course, yes, we have the comments from Phil Spencer about, 3 weeks ago now saying that they really, with this whole unifying of PC and Xbox One, that they really would like to see consoles go the way of other electronic devices, where you
God
see,
it never happens.
you get a new iPhone every year, you get a new Samsung phone every year, you're
That'd
going to
be
get a
so
new
horrible.
Xbox One every year. It's not going to be a new generation. You're going to have an Xbox One that's going to play all the same games as your last one did, and your last one's going to play all the new games. It's going to have another option unlocked for anti-aliasing, or it's going to have a higher resolution count, or maybe in certain games, single player experiences, maybe they'll let you unlock the frame rate and things like that. It doesn't mean that they're going to have new games that your console's not going to play. You're still going to get the exact same experience with your console that you expected to get for the rest of the generation. That's where everybody's getting it wrong, saying people will feel so betrayed. You come out with a new machine, now all of a sudden my machine can't play those games. That's never going to happen. Look at a PC you buy today and a PC you buy in 5 years. They're both going to play the same games. The one in 5 years is going to have all the settings cranked to max. The one from today is going to be playing it on medium on fucking 480p.
I guess if that's the case, maybe it would be passable if, like, you can upgrade your console, but you can still play the games no matter what. You just had to play on a low. That's maybe doable, but I can see a lot of people just flipping out and say, then why the fuck do I fuck Xbox? I'll just go buy a PC.
No, because it's the people that go out and they have the money and they've already spent their $6,000 on their 65-inch or 75-inch 4K TV, and they want now to play their games not upscaled because they look like shit, and it introduces like input lag and stuff like that, right? So they want to have a better experience. They want to play their games at native resolution. You didn't blow the cash on a 4K TV. What the fuck do you care if they're playing at native resolution or not, right? It's to them, it's just like, they bought a fancier version of the same box. You got a SD cable box and they got the HD PVR because they have an HD TV. It only makes sense. It's not going to change your experience that you intended to have the whole time.
I think it'll change
people
the way
freak out.
people look at the console. Like they'll have to really decide. Like they don't want that. See, that's why if they buy a console now, they get the best graphics they can do as much as possible until the end of its life cycle. You know what I mean? I just think it's a big downfall. If you do this, it'll really piss people off. They'll jump to whatever console that's not doing this, or they'll jump to PC. And honestly, it's just I think if it does happen, if anything even remotely even kind of like forms out of this, it'll just be another elite Xbox One or another elite PS4 with a little bit of difference. I don't believe they'll ever do this. It's my
I could easily see them say coming out with a model that, like you say, supports 4K streaming, has HDMI 2.0 port on the back, for instance. Let's say, right? Nothing to do with games. No GPU upgrades.
Yeah,
exact same
exactly.
hardware.
That's
It'll
what I
just have a
expect.
different port. It'll have a different protocol inside, different little chip, and it lets it stream at 4K. And people with the 4K TVs would buy that model. Everybody, and that would be $20 more than the normal version. So everybody else would be happy that there's still a cheaper version that suits their needs exactly. Like I think a lot of people get butthurt over nothing because they feel like I want the best thing that's possible in this little genre. Like I can't live with the iPhone 4. The iPhone 5 is out now. I have to go trade it in every year. I have to trade it in. I don't know. People like doing that at the same time, though, right?
Yeah, but a
So-
console, nobody's done that to consoles. It just that feeling. You don't have that feeling to do that for a console. A console isn't a cell phone that you can just carry with you and dispose of. Like it's annoying if I want to bring that console to my buddy's house. You know what I mean? That's why they have it, so you have the ability to go take your profile to the cloud, so you can share your profile over there, right? Just I don't ever picture that ever happening, and not in this life cycle of the Xbox, that's for sure. Maybe the next console, possibly, but right now, man, like the only thing that's going to happen with this console is if a digital format like games is going to stay on discs, or if it's just going to go completely digital.
See, if it goes completely digital, then like they just brought out PC gaming computers. It's a cube. It's about 6 inches by 8 inches by 8 inches.
Yeah.
It's a cube, and you can bring it anywhere you want. Do you think consoles will ever go to something like that? Like, if you eliminate the disc, that's a huge part of that thing is no longer needed.
Yeah, true. It would shrink it
Right?
right down. Yeah, maybe that's how it should be. But also, if they go digital, they have to. Your copy has to mean something digitally. Like right now, if I buy a copy off Xbox One, I can't sell it. I can't do anything with that. It's digitally owned to me, and if I lose my profile, it's gone forever.
Yeah, but don't you think that they'd reduce price because now they don't have to market it, they don't have to put it in a case, they don't have to.
You would think that, but also, how come they ain't doing that now?
Well, I think that's why Steam is so cheap.
Well, PC was always a little cheaper than Xbox One, but I just, I feel that they could do that now. They could show you that, hey, look what happens if you buy digital. Instead of going to the store and spend $80, you can buy it here for $60. Like, I've never seen that a single time on Xbox. And even
Really?
if, no, because why would they do that? It's just like, we can do the exact same. We can get rid of this disc bullshit, save us money, keep the profit at the same level, and boom, we'll be making twice as much we made before.
I'll tell you, if they come out with a discless console anytime soon, that's going to have a much larger impact on sales than any of these other moves that we're talking about with a new version coming out with a 4K capability or whatnot, because people love their hard books, their steel books, they love their
Yeah.
collectible items, they like their... Let's go look on your wall there. What do you got going, right?
Half my wall is gone now because
Okay.
I'm kind of turning digital myself. Like all these titles here are all digital. I'd rather have them digital. It just makes things easier. I don't have as much clutter. I only keep the certain franchises I think are worth it. Like Mass Effect I still have, Witcher I still have, Dragon Age I still have. Other than that, most of the shit I sold. What the hell is the point? It's going to be free or like a backwards cable on Xbox One. I feel like I'm living in the past, and maybe it's time to join the future a bit.
And on that note, if we want to live in the past at this point, I can always go to my basement. I can pull up the Atari from 1982 or 79 or something like that. I can find the cartridges and blow in them and get the thing working eventually, right? What are you going to do with any of these games in 10 years when Xbox Live is dead, your machine died, your licenses are all going to be invalid, there's going to be no way to revalidate them, all of this ones and zeros are gone, right? Like there's going to be nothing for your kids to play or grandkids or nothing like that. Like we used to have. We used to actually own things. You don't own any of this stuff. You don't own any. It even
true,
says
you
right
don't
in
own
the
none of it.
licenses or written in the agreements is like you do not fucking own shit. It says in there like anything Sony gives you is theirs. Anything Microsoft gives you still theirs. They're just letting you use it for now, right? And you really can see like. How hard would it be for them to change your password right now? Say your password's not you're not valid. Boom, they push it right now. Instantly, all your digital titles are nothing. Right?
That I agree 100%. Yes.
Xbox is not up to reset your password, those games are gone until you can reset your password again, right? So that actually happened to me last May here, where there was some sort of thing happened. I got a message says for security purposes I'm supposed to change my password, but PlayStation Network was down for like a 4-hour window. I had no ability to change my password. All my digital content, games I fully paid in full for, had a little lock symbol on there. And I'm locked out of everything. I don't own none of that stuff. As long as Sony doesn't know for sure that it's me using it or whatever and I'm signed in, that's all garbage, right? You don't get that with the physical media.
Yeah, true. That is 100%. Same thing with me. Doctor, you remember when I lost
Yeah.
my profile? Microsoft said my profile separated from my account. Like my DLAPS name separated from my profile. So when I put my password in, it basically wouldn't recognize my password. So Microsoft basically, for about 2 weeks, gave me a little bit of credit. Not credit, but they gave me an extra profile. They gave me 6 months. And in 2 months they had nothing fixed. And then one day I get an email saying, "Hey, we fixed everything. We're the best." And I'm just like, "Okay, great." And I go and I check my profile. Nothing's working. And I send an email back saying, "Hey, you fixed nothing. It's still broken." And they're like, no response. They basically just ignored me. As far as they're concerned, they fixed some imaginary bullshit. I lost my account. It's like $5,000 worth of shit I bought on there through the 8 years I've had it, or the 6 years, 7 years I had it with the Xbox 360. So I know exactly what you mean. They just take your shit. Like, you buy anything, you don't own nothing. And I agree with that 100%. But also, there's like the lazy factor, man. Sometimes I don't want to fucking go to the store, and I just want it's like right there. It's like $10 sometimes. So I'm just like, I just buy it like that. And hello, and thank you for watching my new episode of What Up News. This is part 2 of 5 of this little podcast me and my friends did. If you like this, please give a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and also subscribe to my channel. So when the new episodes come out, you can check them out and be like, "Whoa, that's totally awesome, yeah." Alright, ciao.